Hello friends, it's time for Q&A. Hari Krishna asks, I cannot understand Jason Fung. Can you explain how I can become metabolically flexible? Okay, so the reason why I ask you to go and refer Jason Fung is because he knows 50,000 times more about this topic than I do. Okay, and whatever he has told me, 90% of it I cannot absorb. And of that 10% that I have absorbed, 90% I have already forgotten. And whatever remains, I will transmit, and of that 90% you cannot absorb. So a lot of it is lost in transmission. Okay, this is why I am asking you to go to the source so that you can get better information. But the short answer to becoming metabolically flexible is you cannot eat sugar. You cannot eat sugar, you cannot eat honey, you cannot eat brown sugar, white sugar, pink sugar, orange sugar, sugar that comes from coconut, sugar that comes from palm, nothing. Okay, jaggery, nothing. You should not eat sugar. That is number one. And do not eat throughout the day. And if possible, try to fast once or twice a week, 24-hour fast, right? And this will make you metabolically flexible. And if possible, you can try a 2-day fast, a 3-day fast, and so on and so forth. So this is the short answer. Okay? Flow info. Hey, I am not your guru. I am nobody's guru. I don't know anything. So I'd be grateful if you stopped calling me guru, because I don't know anything flow info. Please don't follow me in Tirumular said, Kurutinai Nikum Guruvinai Kollar, Kurutinai Nika Guruvinai Kolvar, Kurudum Kurutata Madi, Kurudum Kurivirumare. So if you follow me, you will find yourself in the ditch. Don't follow me, I am nobody's guru. Okay? Be your own guru. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Naveen Satya asks, our ultimate aim is to be independent. But how to become independent? Well, I do not know how to become independent totally, but what I have done is, I have picked and chosen very carefully the things that I really like, and I have kept my dependence only on those things, right? So I'm sure if you become a monk or some great rishi like Ramana Maharishi or somebody like that, I'm sure you can become totally independent. But I am not ready for that, and I don't want that either. I don't think I want that either. I like having desires. I like having goals. But I don't desire anything and everything I see. I desire only very important things. Bummi is here. Okay? So, how to become independent? It is to let go of your dependencies on things that are not important to you. So, this I already told you. By process of elimination, you can know what is not important to you. I don't know what is important to me, but I definitely know the things that are not important to me. For example, this chair I am sitting on is not important to me, whereas Bhumi is important to me, right? So she always comes when I do the Q&A. I don't know why. So I know if this chair breaks down, or if somebody breaks this chair, or if the chair is lost, I am not going to sweat it. So that by process of elimination, you can let go of many things. And then you will have only a few things that you really care about, and that's not stressful. Okay? Ram Behra asks, how to live peacefully, whether money matters. Okay, this is a very good question. The way to live peacefully is to first make a decision that you are going to live peacefully. Peace will not search for you and come and descend upon you and sit on your lap and say, no, Ramachandran, I am going to be with you all the time. No, you have to pursue peace. Peace will not happen to you. Being peaceful is a decision, like brushing your teeth. In the morning, you wake up, your teeth are not going to brush themselves. You have to make a conscious decision and say that no matter what, I'm going to brush my teeth. Similarly, you have to say, no matter what, today I'm going to be peaceful. So as long as you have made that resolution, any disturbances that come, you can either block them or they will leave you quicker. Okay, so that is how you can be peaceful. Whether money matters. Yes, money matters to an extent. As long as you have your basic needs met, after that money is useless. Like, if I'm thirsty, I need probably 3 liters of water, maybe 4 liters of water, worst case situation 5 liters of water, right? But if I have 5,000 liters of water, it's not going to quench my thirst anymore. This is my opinion. Again, don't follow me, I don't know anything. These are all just my opinions that apply for myself. I apply only for myself, okay? I'm just sharing with you my experience and my ideas. You have to find your own. Kiran Mugilan asks me about my thoughts on spirituality, okay? I don't know what this means, this word spirituality. It means many things to many people. I don't believe in a soul and Atma and all that, so I don't know about all that. I want to be peaceful though. So if you ask what is my opinion about being peaceful, I'd say it is very important for me to maintain my balance and peace of mind, no matter what the circumstances are. But beyond that, I don't know what spirituality is, becoming one with the universe and all that. I kind of understand that concept, but I don't know much about all those things. I'm not as intelligent as you guys think I am. So I think that's why you're asking me all these questions. Okay, Afro Samurai asks very easy questions. Do you read newspaper every day? No, I don't read newspaper even once a month or even once a year. I don't read the news because nothing good ever comes out of the news. They never say, hey, today near you cauliflowers are available in plenty, maybe you should go and get it. No. Oh, someone killed somebody, someone raped somebody, oh, the sky is going to fall on your head. They have the audacity to say everybody is going to die. Hey, here is a new car, buy it. Oh, things are really going to crash and burn. Hey, buy toothpaste. This is what newspapers are and news channels are, okay? I don't want to know what is happening. Who is your favorite film playback singer? I have many, but to name S. Janaki, Lata Mangeshkar, and I always tend to like female singers because female singers who do not hide behind their voices. Okay, usually what happens is in our Indian style of music, always songs sung by women are always high pitched. It's like a territory where men cannot venture, not because it is difficult, but it is because females have that physiological advantage of singing in high pitch. But there are women singers who will sing shoulder to shoulder with men, and that I find beautiful. Like S. Janaki, she will challenge any male singer, so I find that beautiful, and that also gives me an opportunity to try out the songs that she has sung. So S. Janaki, Lata Mangeshkar, and Lata Mangeshkar is very versatile. S. Janaki is also very versatile. Not only can she challenge male singers, she can also go into that place where men cannot venture. So that's very beautiful. Do you cook your food daily? Yes. Or I fast. Okay. Tobin Mayman asks, what gives meaning to your life? I don't know. And here is the thing. I am okay with my life having no meaning. Can you process that? I'm perfectly okay with my life being meaningless. I just want to be peaceful in this meaningless life. And that's not a sarcastic answer. I mean it in all honesty. Sanjay Mishra, why are you anti-natalist? What have you lost in hindsight? Okay, Sanjay Mishra asks me, why am I against childbirth? First, Sanjay Mishra, I am not against childbirth. I am against me having a child, that's all. Everything, my entire worldview it applies only for this individual. You should do what is good for you. As far as I am concerned, I live right next to a river that runs with raw sewage. That's my reality, okay? I live in a place where I cannot walk without being fear of struck down by an auto or a motorbike. That is my reality. I live in a place where the air I breathe is not good. I live in a place where I don't have enough rainfall or I have floods, right? So forget about the money. I may have a lot of money or no money, but I have to live outside my house, right? I live in a place where jobs are not forthcoming. I live in a place where things are not good. I don't see that things are conducive for life. But that doesn't mean it applies only to my perception, right? So I myself am not enjoying this stay here. So why would I want to bring in a new life here without consent? Without consent, okay? So that life can come and ask me, hey, why the hell did you have me in the first place? And like my parents wanted me to, hey, go to the USA, go to Australia, go to UK, then why the hell did you have me in the first place here? You should have had me in US or Australia or, Norway or some place like that. No. I am an Indian. I am in India. I feel that I don't have a really good place to live. Okay, I have money, but money doesn't mean anything. I have to go for a walk. I'd like to walk for 5 kilometers in nature. Where can I do that? And yet have the ability to make a living? No. So, I think this story should end here. I should be the full stop to this story. So that's why I am antinatalist. Only for myself. If people should have as many babies as they want, it's their business. I don't care. Good for them. And what have I lost in retrospect? I think that's what he asked, right? Yeah, what have I lost in hindsight? I have lost the need to feel stressed about the future of my children. That's what I've lost. Nitila asks, is it true that you have to break someone emotionally to make a student perform better? No. First of all, performing better doesn't mean anything. Life is not a competition. Life is about being joyful and peaceful. So you can be the worst singer on the face of the planet, yet if you are enjoying your singing, you have achieved as much as S. Janaki or S.P. Balasubramaniam or Lata Mangeshkar. You have achieved the same thing. It is the joy that counts. So, just breaking somebody, making somebody feel bad to achieve something that is trivial is just nonsense. It's mindless. So, I don't think teaching should be a process where students are made to pursue perfection, but teaching should be a process where students should be taught to pursue the joy of learning if they want. And many of us don't get it because we are in competition. The reason why we are in competition is because, again, going back to the antinatalist question, too many people, too little resources, so we fight over everything. Fighting over things has become second nature to us. So, hey, are you the best in this? Are you, somewhere in the ranking list? It has become like a disease for us. Because, again, too many people, too little resources. You have to be the best in everything to make even an impact or to even make it onto the stage. So, this is the reason. So, Nitila, if your music teacher is being abusive and all that, even if you are good at music, you will not enjoy singing it. This is my opinion. Okay, flow info. I already told you, please don't call me Guruji. I am not a Guruji. I don't know anything. But he asks my opinion about yoga and meditation. I don't know anything about yoga. I am the most inflexible person in the whole world. I can't even sit down squatting, right? I can't sit on the floor. Meditation I am just now starting to practice because someone told me that, hey, it helps keep your peace of mind. I've just started. I don't know much about it. How to find meaning in life? Flow asks. I've already answered this. I do not know. I am okay with my life having no meaning. I am okay. That's fine. Does this tree have any meaning in life? I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I am okay with it. If I am okay with the tree not having meaning in life, I am okay with me not having any meaning in life as well. I am no different than the tree. Okay? Black X Bird X asks, how do you spend your time during lockdown? Okay, I do my office work. I do my exercise, I do my cooking, I do a bit of calligraphy, I practice music, and that's how I spend my life, either during lockdown or even during non-lockdown times. Sushant Avias, how do you find time for yourself and your dogs? Very easy. I have no TV, I have no interest in cinema, I have no interest in sports. All my interest is focused inwards. Any time I have, I want to invest in myself. I am not going to look at somebody and clap and all that. I am nobody's cheerleader. Okay? And I have no kids. And I have no wife. So, all the time I have is mine, so I have plenty of time. Hari, yes, do you think democracy is suitable for India? Well, this question is a loaded question. So what are you trying to achieve? The straight answer is yes, it is suitable for India because of all the systems. This is the best of the worst. Okay? Let's say that you live in a country like China, a dictatorship. Well, maybe your economy will be slightly better, but you won't have any freedoms. Right? You won't even have the freedom. India is not a fully free country. We have so many restrictions on our freedoms. But you could be in a country like North Korea or China, where you don't have any freedom at all, absolutely no freedom. So if I have to make a trade-off between freedom and money, I will always exchange my money for freedom. So yeah, freedom is good. Maybe you will not become a superpower. Maybe you will not become a economic giant. So what? What is the purpose of life? The purpose of life is to be happy. Whether I'm wearing this t-shirt, my nephew threw away. So I picked up the t-shirt that he threw away. So I don't need much, but I need my freedom. I need my ability to think freely. Okay? So yeah, democracy is suitable for any country. It would be nice if the people are more educated, but for people to be more educated doesn't mean go to school and get a degree. People are rational. For you to be rational, you have to be fearless. First, you have to shed your fear to be rational. And for you to be fearless, you have to have some faith in the future. For you to have faith in the future, you have to have the surety that resources will be available tomorrow. So for that, population needs to be less. So again, you see why I am anti-natalist. So it's not about education or anything. Even in India, even educated people are afraid of future because population is growing, resources not growing. So once the population comes down, people will become fearless and democracy will be even more powerful. But politicians don't want that. Politicians want beholden voters. So, they glorify, reproduction and all that. But anyway, it is their deal, I don't care. Shrikant Sontake, how to live a disciplined life? I don't know, Shrikant. I don't live a disciplined life. I just live based on my whims and fancies on that particular day. Okay, Radha Krishnan asks, can you talk about your personal life? No, I will not talk about my personal life. Mohammad 100 Ahmad asks, do you think not getting married and not being a father is a blessing that you will miss for the rest of your life? No, I am happy that I have not put one more life here and I ask him to, hey, go and fight. Why? He may ask, why should I fight? Why can't I have a comfortable life? And then I have to tell him stories that, hey, fighting is everything. Fighting is not everything. It would be nice if I didn't have to fight, if I had all the resources I needed right here. It would be nice. So, and in this polluted, corrupt, crowded, dusty, toxic, unsafe environment, I don't want to bring in another living thing. It's cruel. I won't even bring in another dog into my house because I don't have space for it. Do you think I'll bring in a part of my own? A bit of myself? Hell no. Is it normal to go against your own desires? I don't know, I desire everything, I walk on the street and I see a beautiful woman. Yeah, I desire to go and talk to her. I desire to go and accost her, but I don't do that. Just because you desire something doesn't mean that it is good for you. There is always a cost benefit associated with it. And if you think that the costs and the risks outweigh the benefits, then you may want to know that your desires are just that, they are desires. And I enjoy my desires. Doesn't mean that I have to act on them. Sexual urge is also an important aspect which cannot be ignored. Okay, Muhammad 100 Ahmad makes a big leap saying that he is connecting somehow sexual desires with marriage. One has nothing to do with the other. Okay, so Muhammad 100 Ahmad, I'm really clear about there are many things that I am not clear about, but there are a few things that I am crystal clear about, and one of those things is I don't want to leave a bit of me here. I want this story to end with this. This is the last chapter in this story. Okay? Srivatsan Jayavelu. How to convince my mom about the benefits of fasting and insulin control. What do you think about cryptocurrency? Okay, I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. I am not into money. I am not into investment. I am not into growing investment. I don't know anything about it. Okay? And how to convince my mom about the benefits of insulin control? Well, you can expose her to the scientific facts and hope that she will be convinced. If she is not convinced, you can give up your desires and succumb to her pressure, or you can stand your ground. These are the options you have. Soham Datar asks, my dad did a 3-day fast and got acidity. What to do? Hey, I am not a doctor, Soham Datar. This is why I always say go to the experts. I don't know, man. If your father got acidity after 3 days of fasting, then you have to go to a doctor and find out why that is happening. Krishna Prabhu, why are you non-materialistic? I am not non-materialistic. I still love earthly things, but I don't love everything. That is the difference. I don't want anything and everything I see. I know what is important for me, and I focus my energies on only those things that are important to me. Like looking good, being healthy, being peaceful, being strong, having freedom, having options about my life. These are the things that are important to me, not having a watch or latest iPhone or I don't know, I don't even pay attention to all those things. So yeah, I am materialistic, but my materialism is ultra focused. Srivatsan Raghavan, how did your journey feel to you? Is age just a number? How old is too old? Of course, I am paraphrasing. I don't know, that my journey, it feels good now that I have kind of arrived where I want to be. But it was a difficult journey, man. It was a long march, which was not a straight line. There were many ups and downs, going back, lots of delays and all that. It was a very difficult and a tedious march, but I'm glad that I never stopped marching. Okay, so that's all I can say. Is age just a number? No, I feel my age because I have bad knees, I have grey hair, but there is nothing grey about my determination to get to where I want. So I'm younger in my determination, I'm younger in my focus than I was 20 years ago. So there are advantages and disadvantages of being older. So how old is too old? I don't know, man. Maybe if you're 70, 75, 80, I don't know. But I already feel that I'm old. Not old as in I am geriatric or something, but yeah, I feel mature. And there are good and bad things about being mature. I wish if I could, make a magical wish, I wish I had the wisdom I have now 20 years ago. That's all I can say. Vinod Rajendran asks, are dogs a big responsibility? Do you have any materialistic or non-materialistic goals? Yes, dogs are a big responsibility, even bigger than children, because dogs never grow up. Children, at least, they grow up. So it's a huge responsibility. Do you have any materialistic or non-materialistic goals? I have both materialistic and non-materialistic goals. Materialistic goals are, I want to be healthy, I want to be strong, I want to be in good company, I want to be intellectually stimulated, awake, I want to be able to speak my mind, think critically. Non-materialistic goal, I want to be peaceful. No matter what happens, I don't want to be flustered. Okay? Suresh asks, did you experience any opposition pressure or pressure from family when you decided not to marry? Yes, lots of it. From my mother, from my sister, from my grandfather, from my friends. Almost everyone told me, hey, you're doing a mistake. Oh, you have to get married and all that. But somehow I thought, okay, I can play games with my life, but I can't play games with another innocent person's life. Okay, so I was crystal clear on that. I can make gambles, bad decisions with my own life, right? I may decide to jump off a cliff with a parachute. The parachute may not open, I may die. but I can't hug another person and then make them also jump along with me. So I was clear on that. That's why I said, hey, Ramachandran is too risky. He is too erratic to bring in another person and try an experiment with that other person as well. So, and also there are other things about marriage I don't like. It is just the fact that it is not for me. That's all I can say. Seekers of India, if you had a chance to live anywhere, where would you choose to live? Beautiful question. I think I've answered this in a previous video. I would live exactly here in India because I look like a Tamilan, I speak like a Tamilian, I act like a Tamilian, I act like a ex-Hindu, I act like an Indian, and this, I am a dog that belongs to this garbage heap, and I should live my life where I belong. Now if you ask me, is it comfortable? No, it's not 100% comfortable. Am I happy? No, I am not 100% happy. But that's not the point. I was not happy in the USA or in Australia either. This is not hell and that is not heaven, right? That is their own hell and this is my hell. I have to be in my hell. I think it was Lucifer who said that it is better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. I want to reign in my own hell. I want to be the king of my hell. And I always ask myself, how come the white man gets to be with his mother and father? How come the white man gets to speak his language? How come the white man gets to wear his dress and I don't get to? And it's all because of one thing. I want money. And how much of it is enough? I don't know. I think I have enough money. So I said, okay, I want to live my life. No matter how much it sucks, I want to go back and live my life. Okay? So there are beautiful countries all over the world that when I visit, I feel really jealous. Maybe in the next life, if there is one, I don't believe there is one, but if there is one, I would like to be born there. Australia, Germany, USA, I didn't like that much. You know, it's like a glorified India. You have to keep running all the time. So maybe in the next life, I'd like to be born as a German or as a Norwegian, as a Bhutanese. Any place. It's not about the money. It's about having some peace and quiet and clean place. That's all. But right now I am happy, or I shouldn't say I'm happy, I'm glad that I'm fighting my fight. I'm not fighting some other person's fight. What made you buy your farm? MEH asks, what made you buy your farm? I am a boy from a village from south of Madras near Mailadurai. That is where I am from. And they always say that you can take the boy out of the village, but you can never take the village out of the boy. So I always knew that I didn't want to live. Okay, I always said to myself, before I die, I don't want, the last thing I see is not the sewage river. That's not the last thing I want to see before I die. Okay, I want to see some parrots, I want to see some green trees, I want to see the mountain, and I want to live my life, right? So I said, to hell with this. This is just some temporary place. And I need to set up a place where I can feel some ownership. Not so, I don't know what the right word is. Repulsed, I can say. Not so repulsed by it. So yeah, that's why I have the farm. I have always been a farm boy and I still am. Okay. So thank you. Hope this answered some of your questions. It was interesting to me too. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye.